A top stitch seam is done in two parts. So first I put my two fabrics together, good to good. I'm going to sew one long edge on the 1.5 centimeter line, or 5/8 of an inch. I start, reverse, and I guide it all the while, keep it against the seam allowance. Come to the end, do a little reverse. Lift my needle, lift my foot, cut my threads short at the fabric but long at the machine. Get rid of the originals. Bring this to the steamer to press. So sewing is just one part. You also need to press because, again, this seam doesn't look so great. We need to flatten it. So you put it wrong side up. And normally I press a seam open and flat, but when I'm going to top stitch, I pick a side, pulling the fabric tight as I press it, because I don't want any creases sneaking in there. Press it on the wrong side, flip it over, and press it on the good side, giving a little bit of a pull to it so it really lays flat. Now, if this were thick fabric, I would have trimmed half of that seam off. I would have maybe reserged it or zigzagged it or just trimmed it, but it's fairly thin fabric, so I just left it as is. Now bring it back to the machine to finish the top stitching. I'm going to change the metal foot to the clear plastic foot. So I press the red button at the back, put it in my bin so I don't lose it, and put on the plastic foot. It just makes it easier to see for the top stitching. So you line it up, and I'm going to top stitch on the side that has the seam. I'm going to line the foot, the edge of the foot, right at the seam. Put the needle down, foot down, stitch or two, reverse back, and then I'm going to keep the fabric taut, allow the machine to pull it, and I'm keeping the edge of the foot right on the edge of the seam, which makes the seam 1 centimeter wide, or just under half an inch. Again, not pulling too much, just pulling on the fabric, but allowing the machine to pull it through. I'm just pulling it tight from side to side. Come to the end, reverse a few, needle up, foot up, pull those threads, and cut. And I probably would go back to the steamer and just press this flat, but what you have is a nice straight top stitch seam, which is very visible. And I've used white thread so it stands out, but even if I did use a matching thread, you must be very neat when top stitching because it is so visible.